In the small town of Eldridge Hollow, where whispers of the old forest danced with the wind, there was a peculiar legend that every child grew up fearing and celebrating in equal measure. The townsfolk spoke of the Wendigo, a creature born from the legends of the Algonquin tribes, once human, now a twisted spirit of hunger and insatiable desire. It was said that those who wandered too deep into the woods during the waning of the harvest moon would summon its hunger and encounter an insidious presence craving a feast more sinister than any mortal fare. Jenna, a 16-year-old with an adventurous spirit and a streak of rebellion, had always scoffed at the warnings. Simply an old wives' tale, she would say, rolling her eyes at her grandmother's ghostly retellings by the crackling fire. But as the harvest festival loomed, bringing along the scents of cinnamon and wood smoke, a restlessness sparked within her. In her heart, Jenna yearned for something more than the repetitive rhythm of town life. On the night of the harvest festival, while everyone feasted and danced under strings of twinkling lights, Jenna slipped away from the celebrations, her curiosity leading her towards the fringe of the forest. The moon hung low and heavy, illuminating the tangled trees and casting long shadows that danced eerily. She reasoned that just a quick exploration wouldn't hurt anyone. She had her phone, and despite her misgivings, she ventured deeper along a forgotten path. As she walked, the air grew colder, and the joyful sounds of the festival faded away like a distant memory. The rustling leaves whispered warnings, urging her to turn back, but she pressed onward. Just as she reached a clearing bathed in silver moonlight, she felt an inexplicable chill creep down her spine. In the heart of the clearing, rooted in an ancient gnarled tree, lay an object, an ornate, mirrored locket that gleamed seductively in the moonlight. Jenna hesitated, sensing the weight of her choices. The townspeople always warned of the woods holding darker things, but something about that locket called to her, as if it craved not just to be touched, but to be unleashed. Ignoring the trepidation rising within her, she grasped the latch and opened it. Cold air rushed out, and the forest seemed to hold its breath. In the twinkling glint of the locket, Jenna caught a fleeting glimpse of a gaunt, horrific shape, its eyes glinting with an insatiable desire. The stillness shattered, and a low growl reverberated from the shadows, sending Jenna stumbling back. Something was there. Something not of this world. The creature emerged slowly, a twisted figure draped in shadows and skeletal limbs, its eyes glowing with an unholy hunger. The air turned heavy with a suffocating frost, and Jenna's heart raced as she realized she had awakened the Wendigo. Legend spoke of its hunger, for flesh, for souls, but it craved more than mere sustenance. It craved the essence of those who feared it, feeding on their terror. Time seemed to stretch as she staggered back, the moonlight casting a guiding path as she turned to run. The Wendigo screeched, a terrible sound of hunger and despair, its wretched voice echoing in the trees. Every instinct screamed at her to flee, but a mocking whisper began to bloom in her mind, urging her to look back. She chided herself as she ran, remembering her grandmother's stories. The Wendigo was driven to madness by its hunger, but it also thrived on the fear it generated. With sheer desperation, Jenna sprinted towards the edge of the clearing. "It isn't real," she yelled, her voice a challenge against the piercing howl. "You're just a story." But she felt its icy breath upon her neck as she broke through the brush at last. Just ahead, the flickering lights of the festival gleamed like salvation, and with one last frantic push, Jenna burst into the chaotic scene. Gasps and laughter filled her ears, and she veered toward the safety of the gathered townsfolk, the Wendigo's wails fading into an echo behind her. Her friends gathered around, expressions shifting from concern to bewilderment as she gasped for breath, her pulse racing as the adrenaline of the chase surged through her veins. "What's wrong?" her best friend asked as Jenna's eyes darted towards the tree line, desperately searching for any sign of the creature. But the night seemed calm, and the festival hummed bright and reassuring around her. Jenna stammered, but in her heart, something was stirring, a lingering cold beneath her skin, the shadow of something horrific lurking just beyond the edges of light. The locket, once innocent in its shimmering beauty, lay heavy in her pocket like a stone, a reminder of the creature she had awakened in the darkness that now craved her fear. As laughter resumed and friends wrapped their arms around her, Jenna felt a shiver race down her spine. The Wendigo had not been banished. It was merely waiting, lurking behind the veil of the trees, its hungry gaze glinting like eyes in the night, a myth made real, and an uninvited guest at the harvest festival. From then on, the woods would always whisper her name, a reminder that terror wasn't just in the shadows, it was intertwined with her very being.